class demo calling method. We have seen already. Have we seen this class? Have we seen how this call by value happens and call by reference happens? When we send object call by reference, we are calling, okay, the method by reference, by giving a reference, by giving the address. And we have seen how the string buffer object, when we are passing a string buffer object to a method, we can change, the object can be changed, and when it is changed, it will also affect in the calling method. When you come back to the calling method, the change is there. Okay, whatever changes we have made in the call method, that is there also in the calling method. But with the string object, when we pass string object, okay, whatever is done, because whatever changes we are making in the called method, that change is not, actually that change does not stay or prevail in the calling method. You cannot get the change. We will get the original values in the calling method. So that is all about this sending string object or string buffer object. When we send string buffer object, we change, okay, we change whatever we do in the call method, that is kept also, and that is also, okay, kept for the calling method. Calling method also we get the same thing. This can change, but with the string object sending, we don't get the change. We get the original. Now, come to page 129. Returning from a function. Actually, most programs we have used so far, those have methods, mostly they have static methods or class methods. But so that means, most programs we have used, those they have functions, those have no return value. They are not returning any value. These are void methods. But the function can return a value to the calling method. The method, okay, which has called the method, that can get a value as a return. So the function has a return statement inside it. Okay. Normally the return statement is kept at the very last. Okay. And you can see this is a method positive. It is taking one number, one integer it is taking and finding whether this number, suppose it is x greater than equal to 0 or not. If yes, then true. It assigns true to rest. If no, then it assigns false to rest. Rest is your Boolean variable. So return rest means a Boolean value is returned to the calling method. Return rest means a Boolean value is returned to the calling method. Okay. So now in the calling method, you can store it. Okay. And show it. You also see this method, positive method, is not void. It is not public void positive method, positive function. It is public Boolean because it returns a value of Boolean type. So method type also is Boolean. Okay. So you have another function, that is state function. You can see it is a void function. Okay. No return statement is there in this method. So it is a void function. Whatever printing, whatever assigning, everything is over in the method. Okay. So printing is done in this very method. It is not passed again back to the calling method for showing. Okay. Now, so you understood that void okay. If in a function a return statement is missing, then the return value of the function is technically undefined. Only the function declared as void do not return a value and hence cannot be used in expression. Okay. Okay. You have three types of functions in Java. One is computational function, like they compute some value and give you some value, like your math.sqrt function that takes a value, computes it and gives you some value. Then you have manipulative function. Okay. So manipulating functions means this type of function, a function that manipulates information and returns a success or failure code. Okay. Sometimes it returns 0, sometimes it returns 1. Procedural function. Actually, yes, they don't return any value. Okay, simply some printing happens. Okay, printing or some calculation, but okay. And they don't have any return value. Okay. You have now pure functions and impure functions. The pure function is the one, pure function is the one that can take objects, okay, or primitives, okay, that can take objects or primitives, but does not change. So pure function does not change the state of the object. So it takes an object into it, but finally, okay, ultimately it does not change the state of the object. Nothing is done to its value of the attributes. Nothing is done to the value of its attributes, object attributes. But in case of impure function, it can take an object, and change. It can change the state of the object taken. That object you have taken, that can be changed. The state can be changed. Okay. Now you have seen, now you see page 132. You have a function here after. It takes two time type objects, two objects of time class. And what does it do? See, first object is time 1, second one is time 2. So time 1 dot hour, if it is more than time 2 dot hour, then result is assigned true, otherwise the result is assigned false. At last, the result is returned. So, either true is returned or false is returned. So, if time 1, the first object, our attribute is more than the second object, our attribute, then true is the returned, otherwise false is returned. Okay, but look at this, here there is no side effect. There is nothing done to the object state. Object state remains as it is. Okay. So this type of function like after, okay, is called pure function. Impure function, now look at this, another method. It takes one time object and one primitive type object. Primitive type, that is double, sorry, not it is an object. Primitive type variable, primitive type value, that is double type. So one time object it is taking and another double type value it is taking. This function is called increment. Nothing it is returning, so it is void. The public static void increment time 1, comma double set. So now this double value you are sending, that is per second. So that is when that is passed to the function, it is added. It is added to the time object. Suppose the time object is called time 1. Time 1 dot second equal to time 1 dot second plus effect. Okay. Once it is added, it will be more than, it may be more than 60. The second attribute of the time object may be more than 60. Okay. So it should be written. Okay, it should be written if time dot second is more than 60. What happens? If time dot second is more than 60, then time dot second is decreased by 60. Time dot second is decreased by 60, and the time dot minute should be increased by 1. Yes or no? You have 70 minutes, 70 seconds suppose. That means what? 70 minus 60 how much? 10. It should be 10 seconds. So time dot second should be decreased by 60 and time dot minute should be increased by 1. Okay. Suppose you have 2 minutes 70 seconds. That means 70 seconds will be converted to 10 seconds. And 2 minutes will be changing to 3 minutes. Okay? Now, suppose it is 50, suppose it was 59 minutes. Suppose it was 59 minutes. Now 59 plus 1 will be how much? 60 minutes. So now the hour can also change because of this. So here also you change it, write something. If time dot minute more than equal to 60, if time dot minute more than equal to 60, then you will do these two lines. You will decrease time dot minute by 60 and increase time dot hour by 1. You will decrease time dot minute by 60 and time dot hour by 1. Sorry, you will increase time dot hour by 1. So only you have to add here if time dot minute more than equal to 60. Now you have function overloading. You see, you have two functions here, divide. Both the functions, they take two arguments. Okay. First divide method is taking two integer arguments. Second one is taking two float arguments. So the signature is different. The signatures are different. Okay. So when signatures are different, they are two different functions. Though they are sharing the same name, divide, still they are two different functions. Okay. So that is the overloading. Okay. But you cannot have two different functions with the same name and same signature. Java will not allow you. Signature must have to change. Next, need for function overloading. So why we need? See, with the function overloading, so the same behavior of the same object may differ in different situations. Yes or no? Same behavior of the same object. Okay. May differ in different situations. Yes or no? If you are, suppose you have a laughing behavior, okay, if the joke will be little interesting, then you will laugh little. If it is more interesting, then your laughing will be more. So, on different situations, the behavior will change. Okay. Understand or not? So that's why, like the real object have that in case of real object we have overloading concept. So why not we can have in software object? Okay. So we can change the signature and have different methods of the same name. This is the overloading. Now you see this function. C day, C night, two different functions. It is not, they are not overloaded functions. They are two different functions. Okay. In this case, if choice equal to D, you will call the C day function. If choice equal to N, you will call the C night function. Okay. So this is the main method. Just I have discussed. Each statement will be in the main method, and the other methods are C day method. This function is not here, C day function. The brackets are not here. Okay. So there are other two methods. So you have the main method and other two methods are C day method and C night method. Okay. And if you have any other choice, it will be printed a wrong choice. Okay. So this is not an example of the overloaded method. There are two different methods for different work. But if we can manage, instead of writing this C day, C night, okay, we can write one name. Then in one name but two different methods, it is a overloading. We are doing overloading. Now you can see this method, here overloading happens. You have some printing squares of number. Square of a number, the method name is PRNSQR. PRNSQR, first method takes integer value, second one character value, third one float value, fourth one double value. All are different. Different signatures they have. So, when you will call PRNSQR, suppose you will call PRN in the main function, PRNSQR 2.3. Which method will be called? The last. That takes the double argument. So that method is called. So situation different means different method we call it. Suppose instead of 2.3 I supply 5. So first method will be called. That takes an integer argument. So in a different situation, different method is called. Okay. So with this, my code will be less. My code will be less. Listen. Whatever value I give, that value is sent to it, and compiler knows, interpreter knows, Java interpreter knows. Sorry, Java interpreter actually works at the runtime. So it knows which one to call. So at the time of the running, whatever data I give, according to that, the function will be called. I need to write only one statement. No if then else ladder for using these all 4 functions. Okay. Only one statement, everything will be working. Next one. See, here it is showing some error condition. If you have the signatures equal in 2 different functions with the same name, then it will show redeclaration error. Even signatures, you cannot also have different name. Type is important. Only name. Name is nothing. The variable names are not important because, as you know, these are not actual arguments. They are formal arguments. Formal means any name can be. This is another float and double. Float and double. Here different types, so they are allowed. Okay. And you remember, this function type also is not important. Okay, if you have signature same, name same, but different type, function type is different. One function is void, another function is the int. It is not important. Means they are not regarded 2 different methods by Java. So you cannot, because name and then signature are same, no? And you are only changing the function type. That is not important. You will still get the error value, error message. Now calling overloaded functions. See here, we have discussed when we are giving a character Z and calling the method, which one it will call? Second one it will call. Because second PRM method was taking a character argument. Okay. So you can call any of the methods by changing the value, changing the argument. You know how to change the argument type. You can add something like this: 2.3x, 2.3d. 5N, 5S, S for soft. So this chapter is over. You are supposed to do this exercise. The next chapter is constructors. How much will be taught? 1 to 7 maybe, 1 to 8 maybe. Okay. To 9 maybe, no. Not. So, how much it will be over? Listen. Next one, constructors. So we have seen the overloading of a method. So overloading is one way to implement polymorphism. Because we know the polymorphism, okay, one name but many forms. Okay. So, and in case of overloading methods, what did you do? We had many methods with the same name. So we have seen different features of object-oriented programming: data abstraction, encapsulation, data hiding, inheritance, and polymorphism. Okay. They are all tied to a class. But the class only does not have method and type, method and data. There is a different type of method. Okay. There is a different type of method called constructor method, a special method is there. Okay, that helps in initializing the object belonging to that class. The object which belong to that class, okay, they are initialized by the constructor. That is the special method, special member function. Okay. So you can have also overloading in case of constructor. Like you have overloading in case of method, you have overloading also in case of constructor. So we'll see it in the next class.